The driver involved in a deadly crash that claimed the life of a former Middleboro high school teacher and coach over the weekend was in court this morning. The 20-year-old is accused of driving drunk, and we've got details from our Scott Yunt, who's live at the courthouse in Wareham.
Well, it's a very sad day at Wareham District Court. A 61-year-old Middleboro former teacher is dead. A family struggles for answers. Meanwhile, that 20-year-old man is behind bars, and it looks like because of high bail, he could be there for a while.
20-year-old Zachary Limo is facing charges of motor vehicular homicide for driving drunk before an accident that killed a 61-year-old father of three who was a former Middleboro teacher. The accident took place on Route 44 in Middleboro just before 9:30 on Saturday night. According to the prosecutor, Limo ran a red light while traveling at a high rate of speed.
The time that he blew through this red light, Your Honor, James Braga, a former high school teacher and father of three, happened to be traveling south on Everett Street. Mr. Limo's car collided with Mr. Braga's car, causing grave injuries to Mr. Braga. EMTs arrived at the scene and determined Mr. Braga to be dead.
Limo was airlifted to a Boston hospital where he was treated. Prosecutors said his blood alcohol at the hospital measured .111, well above the legal limit of .08.
The Commonwealth has learned that between the hours of 8 and 9 p.m. just prior to this accident, this defendant, Mr. Limo, was with his friends driving around in another motor vehicle smoking marijuana.
Witnesses that night expressed concern about the way Limo was allegedly driving.
These same witnesses indicated that the defendant was drunk, and they indicated that he is, in essence, driving like a jerk.
Limo's father appeared in court but did not speak to reporters.
So, can you say your name and what you do?
Sure. I'm James Braga. I teach automotive tech. This is my 11th year.
I've never seen a town react and respond to something like I saw during those days.
People don't understand what happens after. And it was the wrong decision, just had a ripple effect through the community and still does to this day.
I knew Jim through coaching and teaching here at the high school. My second year of teaching history here, I found myself being the JV soccer coach under him. He was the varsity soccer coach.
I knew Mr. Braga really well from just working with him, that we were teachers together here at the high school.
Yeah, so I would say we got closer as we got older. We were very close growing up, but there were three young boys, so, you know, our relationship was basically wake up, he would make us breakfast or force me to eat breakfast, and he would coach us, and then we'd go to bed. I mean, it was all about sports and doing your homework, and there wasn't a lot of downtime.
You know, he was your father, he was a friend. Everything you could ask for in a father, I guess, is what I'm saying.
As I got older, I went to college. I was the first of the three of us to go to college. And when I turned 21, that was a huge moment. You know, maybe we bonded over a glass of beer, I don't know. But things started to change and we started to hang out and be more friendly than we were father and son, which was pretty awesome.
What up, everybody?
We ready?
Oh, yeah. Got plenty of time. Let's go. What do you want to do first? Would you like to see some of the stuff that's been done since the accident, or would you like to see exactly how the accident started and then go through the path the cars took?
Go the path.
Okay.
So go to the playground.
Yeah, so go to the rotary.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
One big happy family. Pulls open.
My bottom.
It looks nice and clean too.
I guess this is where the first bad decision was made, right? Like, it wasn't coming here to go sledding or to go, these guys were snowboarding, right? So how old was Zachary, 20?
19, I think, when the accident happened.
And they were just drinking and smoking a lot of weed right here. And this place, I guarantee, was filled up with little kids. This is where they were partying. And from roughly like 10 in the morning till 8 o'clock that night. So it's a long time to be out here drinking. This is also where I used to play football, and I was nasty.
Oh, listen to you. Oh, my God.
All right.
All right, bad decision
good?
number 2. Let's go.
Bad decision number 2. Actually, good decision number 1 is happening. So now at like 8 o'clock at night, we'll say, I don't know exactly the time, but 7 to 8 o'clock, one of his buddies drives him home. So I consider that to be a good decision, right? All right, so we're gonna turn around and we're gonna go right behind us is where Zach lived. So Zach is the one that killed my dad.
Okay, that's the name. I didn't know the
Yep.
name of that person.
So just to remind you guys, so Zach was 20, I think. I think he was 20, just about 21 in a few months. And he was a student at the high school when my father was teaching. Okay, and my father, coached him as a kid in soccer, and so I didn't know him well, but I knew of him. So he was coming this way when he left the park that we were just at. So his buddy, who was also a friend of my family, dropped him off at the house. So this is when he gets dropped off. He's by himself, presumably, and he calls up his buddies and says, "Hey, essentially I've been partying all day. Let's keep this going." Right? We'll call this bad decision number 2. His buddies come and pick him up in the convertible, and they start drinking and smoking weed. When they're in the convertible, like that talk about, hey, my mom's car is faster than your car type of thing was happening. And the challenge ensues, and he drops them off here, and they're off wherever they're going, to buy more weed or to go race their car, I don't know, who knows. But they leave here together, 2 different cars. So 2 of them in the BMW, and Zachary and his mom's Saab. And they come this way.
Does she know you were coming today?
Hello, Mother.
Hi.
Good timing.
That was good timing. How are you?
What's in your eye? Let me see your eye.
It's like medicine.
Literally just as far as the other kid's house. So the timing was like ridiculous, right?
Ridiculous. One light away from home.
Hi, Ma.
Stop! Don't do that to her. Stop it.
Come here, Ma. You want to say hi to the kids? A learning thing. What do you got?
Mail.
All right.
Okay.
So this is home. You want to see?
This is home.
Let's go in the house.
Does she have any cookies?
We'll give her like 2 seconds to clean up.
Oh, her house is always clean.
Come on in, guys. This is where I grew up. This is the same house my dad grew up in.
Oh, I remember it's just like Miss Boston.
Oh my God! You have this false reality that like I'm loaded.
Oh,
Wait, they just said you are too.
Hey, I'll
so.
tell you what, the last thing we ever were was rich.
Yeah.
That was true. I was lucky to have a dad that could build something like this, but when I was growing up, and I tell all my students this, we had no money. Like, it was the same thing that a lot of you guys experienced. Oh, look at that. That's me graduating college.
Back in my day.
Yeah, there's the old man right there. And don't let any of this freak you guys out, okay? But the rest of my old man's up there.
Brendan's like, don't move a muscle. There he is.
So,
there he is.
we had my dad cremated. Whoa, whoa,
Stop! My heart actually just stopped. Look at her. She doesn't even flinch because she's so used to your jokes by now.
Yeah. So we had him cremated, but my mom was nice enough to give like all of us like our own, what are those things called? Urn. Yeah, and then we have a huge family, so everybody got like a piece of jewelry with some of the ashes in. So.
They made necklaces out of the flowers from the services and stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Pretty cool.
Was there any time I was ever angry? All the time. Mr. Braga would have forgiven them, and I don't have it in my heart to do that. They made a poor decision, didn't think there was any accountability for their actions, and in the end, they killed a wonderful man.
We've never gotten a letter, never got a phone call, never got an apology.
I would like to hear 2 words. I'm sorry.
White stuff in your eyes, go wash your face. Mwah. Bye.
I love you.
Love you too.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day.
So they're coming down this hill, which is clearly dangerous, especially after a snowstorm, right? And they come up to this light where we're going to take a left. I would say right about here is when the Saab passed him on the left-hand side. And these guys in the BMW stopped for the red light. We can go right here if you can make the right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Oh. Left and right.
So you can stop right here if nobody's behind you, if you don't mind sitting here for a second.
Okay.
So my father was stopped right here at this, or not stopped, but coming through this light right here, taking a left to go back home. And my guess is he got hit right out in the middle. And my dad was doing 17 miles an hour, if you remember from when we talked before, 17, and the kid was doing 88 miles an hour. So my dad was coming up Everett Street. He took this left right here, and that's where Zachary was coming. If you look, if you look up the guardrail, you'll see where that sign, the back side of that sign is. You can see the new piece of guardrail. My father got hit out where the truck is and got pushed all the way into that guardrail over there.
That new piece, that's how far back the actual, like the crash ended.
So just between you and I, don't tell any of the cops. On the 9th of March, I usually go out there at like 9 o'clock and just stand in the middle of the road. Kind of like the last spot.
Hey, I'm a realist, right? So I never tell a kid not to drink. I don't tell them not to smoke weed. You know, I kind of say something funny that my older brother taught me, and it's not really funny, but it might be apropos. I say, hey, if you're gonna do drugs, keep them natural, right? Like, let's stay away from pills, let's stay away from heroin, let's stay away from all this stuff that we know can damage us. You know, and I'm not saying smoke weed. I'm certainly not. I don't do drugs. I'm not saying don't drink, because I know you guys are gonna drink. You know, so I can either lie to myself and try to make you not drink because I'm gonna slap your hand, or I can try to teach you that, hey, we shouldn't drink. You're underage, you shouldn't do it. If you're gonna do it, put yourself in the best position for success. You know, how can I get through this without hurting myself or somebody else? And that's the reason why I started.
And as a parent, it's probably the thing I worry about the most are my kids driving, because I've seen the results of, you know, impairment. I've seen the results of not paying attention, fooling around, and it's not good. Add alcohol, drugs to that, it's even worse.
I tell my own kids all the time, call, we'll come get you, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. You know, what's important is that you get home.
I don't think the young man who was involved had any intention of ruining a life, let alone ruining his own. But I would say that every decision that we make has a consequence.
Don't ever. Don't let your friends do it. You don't do it. It's life-changing, life-altering. it's horrible business when you are talking about young people making decisions that impact the rest of their lives.
There are some decisions that are made that shouldn't even be in an equation.
And then the ripple effect of the families that you are devastating by those decisions that you're making in the moment of pleasure, in a moment of stupidity, in a moment of drunkenness or drug state of mind.
I mean, everyone's got cell phones, you know, now, use your phone, call somebody, you know, whether it be a friend or parents. Your parents and your uncles, all those people, they'd rather have a call from you to go pick them up and drive them home than to get a call from the police saying that you're dead or you killed somebody else.
So when he was in the military over in Vietnam, he had been approached by Harley Davidson, and they were selling, you know, new Harleys to all the guys in the Air Force, all in the military. And he wanted one so bad, but he never put himself in front of the family. And at the time he had a newborn baby, and he said, nope, I can't do it. And they were gonna deliver it to California. And when he flew back from Vietnam, he was gonna pick it up and drive it home, and he never got to do that. So in 2004, my brothers and I decided we would go and buy him a Harley. We grabbed this Harley. I had mine that I had just bought. I bought another Harley and made him buy another Harley. So now we had 4. And we put my brothers on them, and in 2009, we shipped them out to California. And, yep. So, we shipped the bikes out to Long Beach, where my great uncle lived, and we were able to. I don't know. I'm gonna get it out. So we made the trip happen. 18 days we went straight up the Pacific Coast Highway. Across the northern states. It was unbelievable. I remember being in Glacier National Park. This is probably like day 5 or so. I kept a log. Every day I kept a log, and I made a little, like a paragraph of what we had done that day, and I wouldn't let them read it, but every day I wrote in it. And I still have it, of course. We get to Glacier National Park, and a storm was ahead of us. A storm was ahead of us, and we pull in, get some food, and we came out just as the storm passed, and we're like, all right, we're heading into the mountains. And it was unbelievable. So we head up into the mountains. Glacier National Park is northern Montana, and it borders Canada. And we're on this road called the Road to the Sun. And we're cruising up the road, and you can see the storm behind us, the sun coming through. We're probably an hour in, and we pull off to the side. We're about 1,000 feet up over the valley below, and I'll never forget looking at him. And the 4 of us were there, and he said, if I ever die, I want you to throw me over this edge. I'll never forget. I still haven't got him over there.
This is Braga putting for birdies.
All right, here we go. Watch this ball, camera. Oh! Did you see that? Did you see Ha 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 ha!